Using the New York subway's kinda like playing dodgeball, okay? You can only avoid trouble for so long. But when you do get in a line of fire, you better know how to fire back.
Ah, the playground wisdom of Jackie Estacado. I'm sure that's why you're all here. But unfortunately, someone has concocted another cockamamie scheme for us to take out our murderous foes. This time it's Butcher again. The notoriously neutral element in this game, who is 100% on our side. So we better hit a phone, see what he has to say. No time to enjoy breakdancing.
Jackie, what the hell did you do to Eddie Schroed? Ernie bolted for his little rabbit hole. Hey, I just got an idea. Eddie's been safekeeping a suitcase for Paulie. It's full of evidence that could put them both away. If you nab the suitcase, Schroed will definitely come out to get it back. But before you return it, I'd say we prepare it with a little surprise.
Sounds like a plan. So where's he keeping this bag of goodies?
Well, as you might expect, Eddie and his goons snag a lot of confiscated goods for themselves. They stash most of it in the old Turkish baths. It's hard to get there, though, if you don't know how. But from Fulton, there's a connection through the old City Hall station. You'll need to get past the gate between Fulton and City Hall. But Schroed's gang makes damn sure it's always locked. However, someone whispered in my ear that they keep a key hidden somewhere in the public toilets at Fulton Street Station.
Okay. I'm off to grab Paulie and Schroed fucker's piece of candy. Thanks, Butch.
Be careful, Jackie. Go to the old Turkish baths and get that suitcase. Then meet me at those same public toilets at Fulton Street Station. The ones where they keep the key to the gate. I'll be waiting there for you when you come back.
Well, that's quite the multi-step plan, actually. So we better get right on with it. We are right near the bathroom in question. I've actually been here before. But there was one stall that was blocked off. Now we can make our way inside. Because that's where the key is. That's everything we need to get started. And we should really get right on with it. So we'll be working on this for a long time. No time to fuck around with side quests, which there are a lot of in this chapter. But we'll get to them.
Let's say you could get past this. You could walk all the way to the old City Hall station. As long as you didn't tread on any dead hookers.
Well, this is definitely the kind of charming fella I'd like to know more about.
What's at City Hall Station?
I'm trying to find my brother, Ernie. I think he went down that way. You see Ernie Duvall, you tell him his brother Mitch is waiting for him. You tell him to get his sorry ass back here.
Huh. Why'd Ernie have such an easy time getting past this locked gate that we can't get through? I guess we'll find out when we meet him. For now, though, that's just another goddamn assignment from an NPC. You know, BioShock came out 1 month after this game, and fully deconstructed the passive but thou must style of storytelling that this game relies on so heavily.
Let me be. Those are not worth it.
Yeah, I agree. The NPCs are not necessarily worth our time, but we don't have a choice. Gotta do as they say. Would be nice if we could summon the darkness, because then we might have been able to see that collectible. But instead we have to feel around in the complete blackness and know in advance that it's there.
This is City Hall. You know, it used to be a subway station, but it pretty much went to hell a few years ago. It's the only way through to where I need to go. Back to the motherfuckers who killed you.
Human misery, suffer, disease of the mind and heart festers here. It's a good place to die.
Yeah, you could honestly do worse. This part of the game is actually a really cool exploration of a real-life bit of New York City mythology. There is an abandoned subway station underneath City Hall, and it is very elaborate and beautiful. What we're going to see is a pretty faithful reconstruction of a place you can no longer see in real life. Just made a quick pit stop to get another Darkling outfit. If you watched the bonus video, you saw me collect 2 more Darkling outfits via phone calls. Those were pre-order bonuses for different retailers.
Better go back the way you came, pal. Cops shut down the entrance to the old Turkish baths a year ago.
Yeah, by special order from Captain Edward Strode. Dickhead. That cocksucker Strode stole our best hangout.
Why don't you tell me what you know about Schrode?
Eddie Strode is the biggest cocksucker on this side of the river. That fucking guy broke my brother's leg one time because he didn't know the capital of Denmark. I told him it was Copenhagen.
Tell me about the Turkish baths.
And you know another thing, we used to have a passage down to the old baths. They closed the place down after a couple of old ladies drowned one time. It was the warmest place in the city to sleep on a cold night. That bastard Eddie Strode stole it from us. Oh, hey. Good luck getting in there, pal. You need a compass and a half a ton of dynamite.
Can't get into the entrance of the Turkish baths from here, sport. It's all blocked up nowadays. Listen.
Yo, have a great day. Okay? Yeah.
Hey, thanks. But don't underestimate me.
Okay, hey. I wouldn't try going in there if I was you. The entrance is blocked. Besides, you don't want to get close to Duval's people.
Well, now that's interesting. Bit of an update to our little side quest. It seems Ernie Duval might be a threat. Possibly even the leader of a cult. There's also some less helpful folk down here with a profound lack of concern for their own well-being. If those are Duval's people, they were not worth warning us about. Got a Darkling portal up here. That's not the one I wanted. There we go. Construction worker Darkling. Let's see what he can do on our next volunteer. He's a brutal killer, like all the rest. Quite a bit of overkill for these guys. With all the danger out of the way, could talk a little more about the station. If you were to look up pictures of the real-life station, you'd see these very same glass tiles along the walls, these nice archways, even those stained glass skylights we just briefly glimpsed in the other area. Like I said, it is quite a nice place to behold, and not nearly as dilapidated as the game depicts it. They do love their seedy underbelly of New York. Over here we have a door with a pentagram on it and tripwires across it, which killed one of our Darklings. Looks like we've got some actual danger up ahead. More tripwires. Can't shoot them, just gotta barrel through. And get rocks dumped on our head. No real way to tell before you trigger the trap if it's the kind that you want to set off and then step back, or just barrel right through. Oh, and as if that weren't obnoxious enough, I had to be reminded of this. Thanks a lot. Another trap right ahead. I'd like to bring the darkness, but I can't seem to kill that light. And taking a step back was the wrong answer. So if you do kill the lights, you at least get a small opportunity to figure out what's going on before the Home Alone blowtorch there kills you. Still annoying, though. We can continue making our way forward, but not so fast. That water is electrocuted. Just follow the sparking wire up and kill it at its source. That one's at least predictable. But it leads us to another tripwire. Only one way to find out what it does. That one you gotta step back. If you barrel forward, it is perfectly placed to kill you. That one probably wasn't even a trap, just the disrepair of this crumbling old place.
I knew he would. He knows what I did. Help me, Lord Satan. Your humble servant, Ernie Devon.
So, Ernie Duvall is a devil worshipper, and quite proud of it.
Limb from limb, loyal brothers. Limb from limb.
Proud enough to get it tattooed on his ass? I certainly think so. But he's trapped the only entrance to his little hideout with poisonous gas and a locked door. We can solve the locked door problem at least. See, he's worshipping the devil in a universe where the darkness exists. In the comics, he pretty much is the biblical devil. And he may as well be in the game as well. Now we're in, and he's much less confident. In fact, he seemed a lot less confident to begin with, considering all the shit that he put in place to keep us from killing him. Bulletproof glass, numerous cages. And he's not quite done with the traps. He can cause exploding gas canisters to appear behind us somehow. That might actually be the power of Satan. Cannot confirm nor deny. If we head over to the sides, he can somehow compel these pipes to start spewing gas, which then explosively combusts. If you're standing there, it's an instant death. So he's pretty hard to kill. Even his legs are bulletproof. Very impressive. What we can do, start blasting these chains off the gates. See if that gets us anywhere.
You lied to me! This wasn't the deal!
Yep, just opening the gates makes him lose all concern for the lethality of bullets. A fatal mistake. That is far from the fucking up that I promised the guy who had the 666 tattoo on his ass. Just gotta get ourselves up there now. Which requires we move these boxes. Our vertical leap is just a millimeter short of what we need to get up there. Now we can desecrate the corpse, but we need a collectible first. And that corpse is smoldering. We know what that means. Satan did grant him one gift. Quite a powerful one at that. He just didn't have the means to use it. But we do. There we go, now he's sufficiently fucked up. Unless you thought this side quest was in any way optional. We 100% needed to kill him to get past here and use the black hole to open that gate. I guess you could intentionally not talk to his brother, but that'd be pretty foolish. I guess that's the last of his cult that he was preaching to alone in a big empty room. There actually is a cult in the Darkness comics, but it is dedicated to the Darkness, which, as I said, is their Satan. Jackie, of course, is not too keen on working with them. He only occasionally manipulates them to fight a common enemy. Dead end behind us, so I guess we will be heading over here. The ladder to the Turkish baths.
These are the old Turkish baths. Schrott's secret warehouse full of stolen evidence. But I got a little birthday surprise waiting for me, courtesy of good old Butcher Joyce. All I gotta do is get through half a legion of bent cops, find that suitcase, and bring it back to Butcher.
It can't possibly still be Jackie's birthday, can it? We've been all over the city at this point, and we even died for a while there. The sun hasn't even risen yet. That is one impossibly eventful night if it is.
The light grows dim.
Yeah, you're doing that, Darkness. Surprise. This part's annoying as hell. Just gotta get our way through this debris. It is, in retrospect, most likely supposed to be a tutorial on using the black hole. But we've already had one, so I didn't think of it. You can just barely creep through without it. Got a slight fork. Hard to even tell if that's the case. Didn't mean to do that, just accidentally switched to the creeping dark while I was switching my guns. We came back here for some cute graffiti and a collectible. Whoops. Tried to kill the lights, but I accidentally exploded a wall. Sure wish I could explode that door. That would save us some time, but instead we gotta backtrack. Tracking on the demon arm sure is weird. But here's where we're supposed to break down that wall. And that gets us to the baths themselves.
This better not be another false alarm. I'm thinking about the one by the roof hatch. This was never squealed by itself. Well, then what the hell is wrong with it? Oh, shit! It's him!
Now we've been found out by some kind of motion detector. Not that we are the stealthiest protagonists in history. Just gets us to our inevitable firefight even quicker. What you're gonna find is a considerable ramp up in difficulty compared to anything we've seen before. All the pillars all over the place just make it really easy for the enemies to take cover. And they've got all sorts of special animations to make that very beneficial for them. Plus they've got new guns we haven't seen before. There's 2 different kinds of assault rifles they'll be using on us. Firing down on us from the rafters. They can eat us alive very, very quickly.
Use a lie we shall conquer.
Our savior, Emerson Dark, there to greet us in the afterlife, before I respawn right in front of this cache of weapons that I missed, which includes the automatic rifles that I missed. These are the lower tier of assault rifles. The higher tier is also in this area, though. I've got a nice romantic silhouette. Almost got the 2-for-1 there. But 1 is good enough. Gets us a head start we didn't have before. And the rest of our ammunition takes out the other guy. That's the sound of the tactical assault rifles, which are much better and stronger. Even with our shield active, really came close to killing us. But we did manage to kill him, somehow, while blind. I hardly believed it myself. Didn't even need to be spotted that time, they just knew we were there. Probably the sound of all the gunfire tipped him off somehow. That guy was about to do some more maligning of Jenny. That always ends well for them. Ah, Jenny. Classic woman in a refrigerator. The old comic book trope of the female character who only exists to be gruesomely murdered, so as to propel the male hero to acts of greatness. The writer who wrote the issue of the Green Lantern that named that trope also wrote on the Darkness comics. He is responsible for an arc that is literally the most hideous thing I've ever heard of in any work of fiction. See the thread if you want to hear more about Hope Pizzini, the daughter of Jackie Estacado. But that is thankfully completely irrelevant to the Darkness game. More importantly, we got our own tactical rifle. We do not have a ton of ammo for it yet, but it will serve us well in the coming levels, and the rest of this incredibly long level.
Hey! Either we cap his ass, or Eddie cap... Shit! Get out of the way!
Once again, the demon arm being useless. It's a bit poorly programmed. Sometimes it'll fly all the way across the room, hit a guy who is in cover. Other times it'll miss a guy who was right in front of you. Still pretty useful once you get a little practice. Learn all of its quirks. This is actually a little side area where we can stop by the sauna for a collectible. And then head back. I personally think it's poor design choice to dump 3 new Darkness powers and 3 new guns on us all in the span of pretty short level, but we never really get the chance to learn how to use them. Especially because the action in this game takes place in short bursts between very long bits of usually inane dialogue. It's weird. But the gameplay is still very fun. I do enjoy playing the game when it lets me play it. We accidentally tipped off these guys. Now we're doing a bit of feng shui because I can't hit them with my demon arm due to the aforementioned issues. Can hit that beer bottle though. Finally killed the lights, so now we can get in there and just murder them. They can be very dangerous in these close quarters. At least one of them's got a shotgun and they can just knock your shield off immediately. We've seen them do that before. Destroying the TVs actually makes them explode, doing damage to you, and probably nearby enemies. But here's the third gun that I mentioned. The final gun in the game, the Riot Shotgun. Just give us all the guns all at once. Like the other shotgun, it's actually kind of disappointing. But we'll get to use it. It's got a lot of ammo, at least. Before we leave, here's a cage in the back with a collectible inside. Send in the old creepin' dark. Nice and easy. You can even collect it from outside of the gate if you get the angle just right.
Jackie, I think I got
it. Wasn't much of a lie because he barely said anything. That's because if you did not read his letter, then he actually tells you about the suicide on holy ground thing that we read about. That's why there was a long gap between what he said and Darkness's response. It's a really weird touch that they even include the letter, because it completely invalidates the existence of the ghost. I don't know what the fuck that guy was doing, firing over to the right there. Most of the SWAT guys are already dead, even though they have dramatically higher health than all the other cops. But they've got helicopter backup, so I can't get the one who landed on the bottom level. Unless I use the black hole. Just drop that down there, and back away. That took care of him. Very important to learn how to use the black hole very quickly. It's a very useful tool, and there's some gimmicks coming up very soon that require it. Then we can just ignore the helicopter, leave right now. That's been pissing me off for a while, so I'm going to try throwing black holes at it.
Don't let him out of your sight!
So after you use a black hole, immediately afterwards, it drains your entire darkness gauge. Then it puts the darkness away, so you have to pull it back out, let it recharge for a couple seconds. Dropping the black hole directly on the helicopter does nothing. But dropping it below the helicopter, that might have an impact.
Losing altitude! The fucker got me! I'll see you in hell!
Yep, makes that old helicopter pilot fly off and seems like intentionally crash off screen. Which is disappointing. We are denied the money shot. But whatever, he's dead. Just head back a couple steps so that we can platform over to this. Remember the correct way to get back to the entrance of the Turkish baths.
Standing down.
Here's our gimmick. Riot shields. Can't shoot through them. By far the easiest way to deal with them is to drop a black hole, which just fucking kills the guy. You can also use the demon arm to take away their riot shields. That's very slow. Plus, it leaves the guy behind it just still shooting at you. It's a bit risky. Black hole just comfortably slaughters everything in its way. It's actually ridiculously overpowered. That's kind of fun once you get to know how to use it. If you eat the heart of someone while they are spinning around in a black hole, it refills your darkness gauge along the way, so you can immediately black hole again, and not be left defenseless.
Now, I know a thing or two about ambushes, having set up most of Paulie's business in that regard for years. So I know when I'm about to be on the receiving end. Eddie's boys are gonna be out here intent on blowing my brains out. These fucking morons must think I was born yesterday.
Jackie's finally shown a little bit of expertise and agency. It's nice that he's finally not just a tool of either some defecting mobsters on his side or the darkness itself.
Man, I don't know who you pissed off, but you did a fine job. Hey, I seen about 20 or 30 cops down there. Heavy shit, SWAT, and everything. Make sure you watch your back, son. You got half of the NYPD waiting for you down there.
Well, what happened to needing half a ton of dynamite to get through here, Emerson? I think he was just trying to keep us out of his cool hangout.
Do you have a visual ID at this time?
These guys are real shitty at ambushes, even if Jackie weren't an expert in the subject. You can also use the demon arm to open doors for you. That's convenient.
That means don't talk on the radio, dipshit. Yeah, over the radio. You really that stupid? To maintain radio silence, you're not supposed to tell everybody over the radio. Try semaphore. Now shut the fuck up.
Yeah, ridiculously bad at ambushes.
What the hell did you bring all these cops around here for? This place was fine when you came here. Hey, buddy. Keep an eye out down there, okay? You go and fix this.
Yep, we're gonna. I mean, we were told this was a cop hangout before the fact. Eddie's personal evidence stash. So when we're done, there's going to be a lot less cops than there ever were. Bring some friends with us. They can't hurt except for the fact that they literally can. The gunner likes to stand at the back of this hallway and just literally shoot us in the back. Which does damage. We are not immune to friendly fire. So, the ambush itself is actually pretty good. Except for the fact that we could just back away from it. Back into our darkness hole. And start launching black holes, which kill everybody. Usually they will also break the floodlights, which will shroud the place in darkness again. But not always. So you just place your black hole properly, let it kill a bunch of people, then step back and let it recharge. Rinse and repeat. There is but one survivor from our 2 black holes. Gunner Darkling sure isn't going to deal with it. But we did. And it looked like the gunner did, so... in theory, they were very useful. Didn't even shoot us along the way. And this is the part of the station that has all the stained glass in the ceiling. If only the sun were out, then they might have had a chance. Although I'm not sure why we can even see the stained glass. It should be completely dark. They clearly were not confident in their own ambush. They set out more patrols to deal with this. Kinda wanted to thank that guy for killing our gunner. Because it's frankly more annoying than anything else. But instead I murdered him. Before we keep going, we have to do some platforming with the creeping dark to get another collectible. It's very, very awkward to climb this scaffolding. Yeah, I don't want another gunner. I want a berserker. Because we still got, I think, at least 2, maybe 3 costumes we haven't even seen. Much less their related animations. These SWAT guys are probably too powerful to actually get caught by the Darkling, though. They're giving us lots of tactical rifles, though. This is the standard automatic rifle. Still gets the job done. But this one is much more accurate. Deals a lot more damage. Slightly slower rate of fire. But a good trade-off anyway. Another cool thing about the black hole is that enemies caught on the outskirts of it will be stunned. And take a little bit of damage. It's by far our most powerful ability, but this is where they start using the limited range impediment against us. These enemies are way, way outside of its range. They could still kill us, no problem. And most of them have riot shields. So no matter what, we gotta close that gap. Darklings provide a very slight distraction before getting obliterated. Trying to shoot that guy's legs. Turns out they're also invincible. Like Ernie Duvall's. They refuse to reward me for my cleverness. Killed the close one. That makes the rest of the approach slightly safer. We are still required to get dangerously close, though, in order to take them out for good and secure our exit. I got just one more. We're right on the very outskirts of where they would be affected. But using the tactical rifle and our own darkness shield, we can take him out from an extremely long range. And eventually get our way down there. Super frustrating though, and if you die here, you go all the way back to the ambush. But finally, we turn them into a Katamari of limbs. And then a buffet of hearts. And we are out of here.
Fight fire with fire. That's what I always say. My Uncle Paulie always goes for the spectacular when he's breaking somebody's balls. Let's see how he likes it when I do the same to his main man, Eddie.
Well, that's one job well done. It's not the only job well done, though. We completed the Duvall side quest. Still need to go tell his brother the good news, and not the bad news, as much as I'd like to brag about what we did to him.
Human flesh. This is where you are, where you will remain.
Say, did you see my brother?
Well, I saw him, but I think he's kind of reluctant to meet up with you. He's got serious people problems.
Oh, my brother Ernie's always been the family freak. Hey, but thanks for trying. Here.
Always happy to help a brother out.
Hey, thanks again.